The following is a Comfortably Zoned Radio Network production.
We are back. New York City baseball, past, present, and future. I'm Ralph Tyko with the Comfortably Zoned Radio Network, and we are all present and accounted for. Marty Rose.
Yes. Hi. Good evening, everyone.
All right. Good to hear your voice, Mert. Robert Deininger.
Hello.
Hello. And the Yankee hater, Gene.
Happy Monday.
Hutmaker. Yes, it's a happy Monday.
Yankee haters are back.
I'm going to start because Gene was kind of happy in his voice. I could tell that we talked just a tad off the air. I think you're happy about Stanton becoming a Yankee. Start with you.
Well, now that the Yankees don't win, it's just a travesty. So they're expected to win. So just got to wait for the postseason.
Okay. If you were a Yankee fan, would you be happy with the deal?
My sons are doing 15 cartwheels.
Okay. I want to make it unanimous. Robert Deininger, are you happy with the deal?
Yeah, I'm pretty happy.
Okay. Do you think there's going to be more to come? Dealing more signings for the Yankees?
Well, I do know they're talking with Pittsburgh about Garrett Cole, and I know they're trying to look to unload Ellsbury, so I expect something to happen. But I don't think it'll be Ellsbury. I think it'll be more with a pitcher.
Okay. Wow. I was thinking McCutcheon, perhaps.
They're pretty loaded in the outfield right now, and there's a lot of talk about they might even have to move one of their outfield prospects. You know.
What are they going to do with second base? The very underrated Stalin Castro was traded, and I don't know if he's going to play short for Miami, but he's a very versatile guy, and I think he might be missed. What are they going to do at second?
Well, Gleyber Torres, who's their number one prospect and number 3 overall in Major League Baseball, he's a natural. He's more second base is his position, and if he's not ready to go, I can see someone like Ronald Torres filling in until they feel comfortable enough to bring him up to the major leagues. But I expect Gleyber Torres to be their second baseman next year.
He's going to be fighting for a job in spring training, is what you're saying.
Yeah, and if they might give him a month down in the AAA just to get some at bats before they bring him up. And if that's the case, I could see Ronald Torres playing second.
Very interesting to me, because I didn't think they'd get rid of Castro. He was one of my favorites. He just surprised me, is all.
Yeah, I thought Headley would go before. Yeah.
All right, get to Mert, and we'll talk a little Mets. There was a big story in the New York Post today that I picked up on the Internet about the Mets seriously dangling Harvey. And I want your opinion. Whether or not they'd be selling low, because really and truthfully, it's a year now after that horrible surgery, the 2 surgeries that he went through. And, they invested a lot in this guy on one level or another to get him to this point. Do you think they'd be, short selling him?
They would
think that's a good idea?
Definitely be selling low at this point. The teams I heard mentioned were Texas and Baltimore.
Right.
I didn't hear any names from Baltimore. The only name being thrown around from Texas is this guy Profar, who's like a 220 hitter. So,
it's more than that, Profar. There's a real big upside to this kid. He was the number 1 rated prospect in baseball not too long ago. And he's still young, very young, and he's been really hurt by injuries. Now, there's always that question, is a guy going to be brittle all his career? Does one injury lead to another? That's a problem right there. And my thinking is you don't give up Harvey for just a young guy with absolutely no pedigree yet.
No, I would not. I would definitely not. No. Look, this is Harvey's walk year. So if he's ever going to do anything, this will be the year. He's coming off 2 surgeries. He's had enough time to recuperate now, and he has to show something this year. But I would not trade him for somebody like that. Like I don't care how much upside the guy has. He hasn't shown anything yet, in my opinion. I did hear that the Mets might be interested in the guy that we were just talking about, second baseman. That
Provar.
No, that the Yankees
Castro.
traded to.
Stalin Castro.
Castro. Yeah, the Mets. I heard some interest there, but I'm not sure. He's thinking like what, $9 million, something like that.
Castro, yeah.
So Miami's really
the only one
really
who's a total free. The only second baseman who's a total free agent is our old friend Walker, and rumor has it that he wouldn't be adverse to coming back.
Yeah, but he's starting to get up there in age. And he was hurt. He had the bad back. I mean, I don't think I would take him back. Unless it was really for not much money. I mean, I heard you could get him maybe 2 years, $12 million. But still, I don't know. I'd go for a younger guy personally.
Marty, has there been any talk about Bruce? Not my brother.
It's the old story. They would offer him 3, and he wants 5. Would they settle on 4? I don't know. But I guess you have to see if anybody else is going to make him an offer. I'm sure the Mets would make him a 3-year offer. That'd be
it would really improve their versatility in terms of having Bruce as a fallback at first in case Dominic Smith doesn't progress anymore. But Dominic Smith was their number 2 prospect to Rosario, 2-3 years now, coming up, babying this guy. He gets his first taste. He was admittedly out of shape. He admitted that. He's working on that. He increased his power, 9 home runs and a very limited number of at-bats. He didn't hit for average, and his fielding wasn't quite up to par. But I think that had a lot to do with him not being in good shape. And playing the last part of the year, he's playing more games than he ever played in his life, because the minor league seasons end in August. Now he's called up to the majors, and he's playing all through September. And you wear down if you're not in good shape to begin with. So my point is, I think he's learned. I think the Mets have learned a little bit that their conditioning program sucked over the years.
Yep.
Their trainers are no longer with him. Let's stick with this guy. You got Flores who can complement him.
Right.
And if he falters, again, if you sign Bruce, you move him to first. I like that.
Yeah, I agree. I like that too. You know what? they're not going to spend any money. I mean, you listen to Alderson lately. He is not doing anything. I mean, they need relievers. We might be able to get one reliever possibly by the end of the winter meetings. He made a bad joke about Brandon Nimmo. You probably heard that.
No, I didn't.
They asked him if the Mets ever had any interest in Giancarlo Stanton, and he made a wisecrack like, well, we have Brandon Nimmo in right field, so we didn't really have any interest.
He said it whimsically.
Yeah. But
right.
Nobody was laughing. I don't think
no
anybody was laughing. No, it's not fair to Nimmo to say something like that either.
Mert, has the New York press got on his ass?
I think they're starting to. Yeah.
I mean, not just him, but the team, and I can't blame him. He's got the Wilponzi.
He's working with no budget. It's the owners. It's every year. It's the same thing with the owners.
Exactly.
Michael Kay went off on him today.
Oh yeah, good.
Yeah,
that's good. I mean, look, they gave Cespedes the big money, and that's pretty much it. They're not going to pay for anybody else. I really don't think so.
Well, it all revolves around the way I look at it, staying healthy. And if you spoke of Cespedes a minute ago, there's another guy. If you can get his thighs to not give out every 15 minutes, and some sort of stretching regiment or whatever it's going to take to get, because he's getting up there a little bit. And guys, you don't want him to be a DH waiting to happen.
No.
And that could very well be very quickly, and then that's going to reduce what they can get for him. This is a messed up franchise. It's messed up because of what we were talking about last week, Mert, and what you just brought up. It's the year after year. It is the Wilponzis, father and son, making decisions just based on money, and let them get that TV money coming in, and let them get, all of this, and not put it back into the team. This is a New York market, for Christ's sake. If you can't keep up, sell the damn team. I'm sure there are many, many buyers, and they will have made out beautifully. I don't know, and I don't care what they bought it for, but it's X number of dollars, and they'd sell it for X, 100 times X, literally.
I don't know. They've never said anything about selling the team. Never.
I know.
It's come up, of course. It always comes up because they never spend any money. But no, I don't think they have any interest in selling the team, and it's too bad. Unless
I know, because last week I was feeling that overwhelming frustration. I think I voiced it to you. For the rest of our lives, these guys are going to own the team, and I don't know what will change it, because I think Robert mentioned last week that their real estate holdings are doing quite well, and they're by that financial Ponzi scheme and all that. They're years removed from that. So what do people do? What do sports fans do? Could they one day just all en masse not come to a game? No fans show up. Have a big campaign. August 3rd, whatever it is.
Well, the Mets fans don't do that. Like the football Giants fans, they do stuff. They have airplanes flying over the stadium with signs. They put signs up on on the highways leading to Giant Stadium. You know, they I don't know if Giant fans just have more money or what, but
well, either that or we are still lovable losers.
It's just, it is sad. Unless the old man passes away, you know, and
but then the kid
Jeff Wilpon decides to sell it. That maybe that would happen.
I know, but it's hard as a fan you wake up in the morning, what they do, and is Wilpon still alive? You know, you're looking for a win and a win. That's but what the kid doesn't seem to be the kind of kid that's going to sell the team. That's he's looking to absorb more power. So for the 8,000th time, the thought crosses my mind of playing out my option as a free agent. But then I would have to burn all my sweatshirts and my gear and my caps and stuff, and I'd have nothing in my closet. So I can't do that. It's a dilemma.
Yeah, it's going to be a Yankee year from the get-go. Just from day one, it's going to be a Yankee year. Here's a thing to ponder. Somebody brought this up today. The Yankee fans seem to like the homegrown guys better. So is Giancarlo Stanton going to be the Roger Maris to Aaron Judge's Mickey Mantle? Is this what's going to happen now? Or are they going to love Giancarlo right from the start?
Well,
I think it depends on the kind of year Judge is going to have, too. If Judge struggles, it could be interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, and don't forget Sanchez. That makes those three guys make them incredibly loaded. Wow. And, you know, the guy who I think, if I'm a Yankee fan, I'm rooting for Hicks to really make a contribution to stay healthy and really make a contribution this year.
Yeah, John Heyman reported that people within the Yankees organization said that the center field job is Aaron Hicks. And so I know Ellsbury, there's reports that he wants to stay in New York and win back the job, but there's reports coming out that it's Aaron Hicks' job.
Well, then, is Ellsbury a candidate for a DH or?
Nah, bench.
They got to get rid of him.
Yeah.
I'd rather have Gardner than Ellsbury.
Yeah.
Gardner had a terrific
Gardner
year.
has been, over the last 3 years for the Yankees, a very, very steady ball player.
Definitely.
One of those guys you say, he's a nice ball player.
Yeah.
Like a lot like Didi is a nice ball player. And I have to say, Henley at third, same thing. I know I'm not pronouncing that right. But
you get down on him, and then he comes back and has a good year like he did last year.
Right.
And he's a very solid player.
Yep. Okay, guys, I want to ask you, it's the winter, and when I was a kid, when Mert and I were kids, the sign of spring was when the magazines came out. Did you guys, Gene, I'll ask you, was that, what magazine did you, couldn't wait till the magazine comes out? What was it?
Well, Who's Who in Baseball and Street and Smith's, and as long as it didn't have the Yankee on the cover.
Yeah, they tended to, and another one was, for me, was the two baseball digests, one that came out in February, if I'm not mistaken, and one in March. The one in February, or March and April, whatever the hell it was, one of them was the rookie edition, and I still have some of mine from when I'm a kid. So they did such a great job of touting guys coming up, team by team. They'd have the prospects, the most valuable prospects, coming up and looking back, reading the scouting reports on these guys years later is very entertaining to me. So I used to wait for that magazine. Street and Smith was very comprehensive. You're absolutely right, Gene.
Yeah, that was really good. Excellent.
Yeah. Mert, any others? The Dell magazines were...
The sporting news was great in those days.
Oh, yeah.
Wasn't it a weekly? Or am I wrong?
It was weekly, and it would come out. Remember, we'd hang at Jack and Manny's candy store? And I don't know if I've told this story before.
Yeah.
The sporting news would come out, and you'd have 6 guys at the newspaper rack reading all the sporting news. Everybody would be standing there, and Jack and Manny's parents, I'll bet they're dead by now. I'm just guessing. Mom and Pop, literally, we used to nickname them. And said, their magazines are for buying, not for reading. And we'd go on reading and just...
The sporting news was great for all the minor league stuff that they had. I think they were the first ones. It was so much baseball. It was like, what, at least 3/4 baseball.
More than that.
News.
Oh, in those days it was all
baseball. And they had all the minor league stuff. It was great. It was really good.
The only problem is over the course of a season, they were about 2 weeks behind statistically.
Well,
they have box scores and what have you. I loved reading box scores of AAA teams to see the guys, the Luke Easters of the world, the Steve Bilkos of the world, the Rocky Nelsons of the world, the guys that were on the bubble and would come up and down, and just the 4A ball players. They're better than AAA, but not quite major leaguers. And following those guys through the sporting news was terrific because they'd have box scores, literally the D leagues, the C leagues, I guess there was a B. I guess they called it B, I think, or AA or whatever the hell it was. But there were 16 leagues back in those days, and yeah, that was a terrific periodical. Now I want to hear what you read. You're younger than us, Robert Deininger. Bless your young heart. And I want to hear the magazines that you waited for to come out and when you were a kid.
Actually, I didn't read much magazines. I stuck to the newspapers, particularly the News, the Post, and the Asbury Park Press. I spent a lot of Saturdays in detention, and those were my papers.
Okay. Who was your favorite columnist?
Well, at the time it was Lupica, but I didn't really stick to the author's name. I just read it from cover to cover as time passed.
Okay. Who was your favorite columnist, Gene Hutmaker?
Jerry Eisenberg.
Terrific guy. Excellent. Loved Jerry Eisenberg. He was terrific.
He's still doing the Super Bowl, too.
Wow. Unbelievable.
You remember the Post when the two columnists were Schechter and Coppett? The two.
Leonard Coppett. Yeah. He moved to the New York Times, I think, afterwards. I'm pretty sure.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did. And Schechter transposed Boughton's wittism and what have you in Ball 4. He was a terrific author. And he also wrote a book, there's a bibliography to my life, called Jocks, Leonard Schechter. If you ever want to get a book, I'm sure it's on eBay or whatever, Jocks, and it really gives an inside story to ball players in the day. And anyway, Casey Stengel and Rod Keneal are mentioned in that book an awful lot. There's great stories about those guys. So that's one you might think about looking into. I also want to mention one thing, Mert, that Dan Warthen was quoted as saying, if any of those teams are interested in Harvey, he gives Harvey a heads up, and he says that'd be a good buy. So, as far as I'm concerned, no one is closer to the situation. And if he says that,
he thinks Harvey's going to have a good year.
Right, and if he says that, I'm inclined to keep him from that standpoint.
Exactly. Yeah, for sure.
Especially, no one's coming up big and given a established major leaguer who could step right in for sure, and you wouldn't have to worry about him. If you can get that, then there's at least food for thought. You can consider it. But at this point, boy, I'd hate to see him come back and haunt them. Or worse yet, you trade him to some team in the American League, and they turn around and trade him to the Dodgers or the frickin' Yankees. Excuse me, gentlemen. No, not excuse me, gentlemen. Excuse me, Robert. I think Gene would concur with what I'm saying.
Absolutely.
Yeah, well, he is from Connecticut, right? I think he was more of a Yankee follower than a Mets follower as a kid. So he likes it there.
Yes, he would, and I think he still feels slighted in some way by the Mets. When they went through, I think they went through that newspaper thing 2 years ago, and I don't think the Mets left a good taste in his mouth. And I think that when it comes down to it, he'll be gone eventually. But at least let's get the good year out of him, for Christ's sake. It's his walk year.
Yeah.
And then when he goes, you can get something back for him. You tender him and at least get something back.
Yeah, they'll keep him for sure. I don't think they're going to trade him.
No, I don't think so either.
Because of all the injury history, you can't. I don't see how you could. Last year at this time, we were talking about, who's the 8th starter going to be? They have so many starters. Yeah, well, now we know.
Right.
You can only depend on two.
Took care of that.
Yeah.
But, earlier in the month, or earlier in November, we were talking about their new, ostensibly, that they're going to have a new program in limiting innings of the starting pitchers in hopes of eliminating injuries, this, that, and the other thing. And, Mert, you and I both agreed that to do that, they're going to have to strengthen their bullpen, and either that or go out and acquire. Now you're talking about getting rid of Harvey. They were talking about acquiring a solid pitcher to go with what they already have. Now, if you eliminate Harvey, wow, cut their innings and eliminate Harvey and not pick up anybody in the bullpen, Alderson, I could see Alderson one day going, forget this. Like the way I said that? Forget this. I quit. They can't, it's making me crazy, and it's ultimately ruining my reputation. Because you can't do it without money. With money, like the Yankees have a lot of money to spend, and they spend it. If they make a mistake in their signing, they can make up for it. But if you don't have money and a guy gets hurt, this, that, and the other thing, or he doesn't pan out like you thought he was going to, you're dead. Smith is a good example, Dominic Smith. If he doesn't pan out and they're not putting money into getting a free agent vis-a-vis Bruce or whatever, big problems.
For sure.
Big problems. Anyway, the other thing I want to mention, the other name I want to mention is Kinsler. He appears to be out there on some level. Maybe, I think he's still with Texas. Am I right, Kinsler?
I think so.
Maybe the Tigers?
Tigers, right.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, so it's not like Texas is going to throw him into any deal if he's playing with the Tigers. Anyway, there you go. Guys, I think we covered it. It was starting to get interesting. This is Monday, the 11th of December, and the winter meetings have just started. Nothing has really happened yet. The Cubs signed Morrow, and who's a relief pitcher, who they gave him a 2-year contract. He's the kind of guy that could help the Mets, I thought. But I don't know what Alderson's working with budget-wise, and not being an insider, just being fans, makes it very frustrating from that standpoint. And the Mets reveal nothing. They are absolutely closed door about information. Anything that leaks out. Their thinking leaks out in offhanded remarks. Good example is the Nemo remark. In other words, what he's thinking when he says that is, I'm not even taking it seriously. To answer that question and not give it a good answer and say, well, why not this guy? Why not Stanton? In a serious manner, just tells me, this is like the chairman of the board of the team. And it's frustrating.
Why are they even asking him a question like that when everybody knows that the Mets couldn't afford a tenth of his freaking contract? I mean, why ask him that? Maybe that's why he made that kind of statement, because it was a stupid question. You do get a lot of stupid questions too. Why?
Very good point.
Interested. Really, I mean, insane. Really.
Okay. Thank you, guys. I appreciate your contribution. Gene, Robert, anything you want to add to the life and times of your favorite and least favorite teams? Start with you, Gene.
I'm just waiting for postseason and seeing one of them pitchers from Houston mow down the Yankees.
That's what I was going.
Okay.
Gene, yeah. Michael K. made a good point today. The Yankees lineup's built to bash the baseball, and you saw what Houston did to them in the championship series. They just mowed them down. They're not a lineup built to, knock runs in here and there. They're built to bash the baseball, and it's going to be interesting if they make the postseason again.
Well, you live by the sword and you die by the sword. So sometimes if you're not well balanced and you have too much power and you're just waiting around for that Earl Weaver home run, and I don't see them having much. If they're slumping, I don't see them having much talent at the top of their lineup to manufacture runs when the home run isn't coming. So,
hey, Didi made a good comment, kind of a cute comment also. Didi Gregorius. He said, well, I guess I'm not batting fourth anymore.
Yeah. He must, they all must feel great. Let's face it, he's going to improve the amount of fastballs and the good pitches everybody around him in that lineup sees. So it can't help but be great on that level.
Yeah.
It's going to come down a lot, I hate to say this, to staying healthy, too.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it will be interesting to see what Judge does. He had a great start. Slumped for a while and then got back in the groove. So he's adjusting. You got to give him that. He's still young as hell. You can't do anything about it because fandom is from the heart. It's easy to be a Yankee fan, I'll tell you. Gene will tell you too, right? Can't do anything about it.
I have 29 teams.
That's true. That's true. Whoever's playing against them on any given day. All right. Do you change caps for that, Gene?
Yeah. No, I just I hope for the Cardinals with whoever they're playing. I don't want to be negative, so I root for whoever they're playing. With the byproduct of that is that they lose.
Well, I can appreciate that because when Mert and I used to go to Yankee Stadium after the Giants and Dodgers left and before the Mets were born, we would root for teams like the Baby Birds, the White Sox, because they were coming in and playing the mighty Yankees. And it's it was what they say was like rooting for U.S. Steel.
Right.
Right.
Those days, yeah, for sure.
Those days back in the day. Thank you, guys. It's been terrific. Robert Deininger, Gene, the Yankee-hating machine, and memories of the Gong Show for me, and Marty Rose, my oldest, not the oldest friend, but the oldest friend I have in terms of time. Second grade, Mert.
Yeah, for sure, absolutely.
Oh, wow, let's keep it going till we're 95. That's the goal. Right.
Good luck with that. All right.
Good. There's the spirit. I say 95, damn it.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Thanks a lot. If you're listening and like our offerings, any of the offerings on the network, please box up some children's books in cartons. Get the neighborhood lightly used children's books, used books. Take them down to the Head Start program in whatever city you live in, and get kids reading, get kids ready for school, get them off the streets, get them interested, all that stuff. And if you don't like what we're doing, go to the Head Start program, steal a bunch of books, take them home, and burn them. No, don't do any of those things. I'm just kidding. Be well, everybody. We'll be back next week.
Good night.
Adios. All right.
Good night.